Greetings and welcome to the channel. I'm Shotgun Shogun. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, well, welcome back. So first, before we get into the dev notes, I wanted to talk a little bit about the direction of the channel. As you can see, I too have decided that I want to make a lot of money. So therefore, I have decided to join the VTuber Nation. Thank you for everyone for coming to my debut. I'm a little shy, so I hope that I can do my best and get all of your super chats and everything like that. So this is going to be, my first debut video, and I really do appreciate everything except for all of my haters. You guys are suck, and I'll probably expose you on Twitter for clout later. But anyways, let's get into the video, because not only am I now a VTuber YouTuber, but I'm also an ASMR YouTuber. I decided that I'm going to go with both of it, because that's how you make money, everyone. So we're going to do the dev notes in ASMR. I hope that you really like this, because it's the first time I've done this, and I really want your approval. So here's the dev notes. Balance adjustment targets are going to be Silverblade Araminta, Dark Corvus, Tien, regular Araminta, Ludwig, Destina, Hydra Aether. A lot of people are really mad about that because, well, chat, they feel bad for transmitting all of them into silver transmit stones, but you should have saved one anyways. That's really what you should have done. 4-star Kali and Armin. Now, a lot of people might be asking, hey, I don't even know what 4-star Kali does or who 4-star Kali is. But we're going to go over that. We're going to go over that. Don't worry. Alright, 5-star Moonlight, Silverblade Araminta. People have said that if she gets buffed, this will be the most disgusting travesty that has ever existed in the history of the game. Sometimes when I'm trying to talk about something in this voice, my microphone doesn't actually pick it up. How do people do this? Anyways, this now, flame friction. Before, it only attacked an enemy with an explosion of flames, with 75% chance to burn for 1 turn. This is her S1, by the way. Now, not only does that, but it also, after attacks with an enemy with a burn, it activates flame release as an extra attack. This attacks all enemies with a mystic fire with 60% chance to burn for 1 turn before increasing the combat readiness of the caster by 25%. So they just took her S2 and they put it on her S1. But now they gave her a passive where when an ally, except for the caster, uses an attack that targets all enemies, this increases the combat readiness of the caster by up to 25%, because you can get extra percents down here. This is really good, because one of the problems is that she's not the fastest thing in the world. So now you can strip, and as long as it's an ability that attacks, like a Peyra or a Ran or a Flitica, or, let's be real, nobody's really using Flitica right now anyways, but, it is what it is, right? Yeah, it is what it is. This will give her a 25% boost, which is actually kind of insane. That's actually really kind of stupid, honestly. It's pretty big. It's really big. But now for Meteor Fall, this is going to be her S3. This attacks all enemies with a giant meteor with a 65% chance to inflict 2 burn effects for 2 turns, before stunning for 1 turn, before decreasing the combat readiness of the enemy with the highest combat readiness by 30%. Pretty good. This is pretty good. I was talking about using her yesterday. I thought that she was already good, because really what actually nerfed her at the beginning was, well, when they nerfed her, wasn't actually them changing her kit at all. It was immunity set. And the fact that most people now aren't using immunity set, SBA stonks were up. Now, not only that, but we've got a lot of openers that strip. Ran, Peyra, Sea Lilius. The problem is that if you use Sea Lilius as your opener, it doesn't actually technically attack anything. Same with AOL. So you will have to use her with like a Para or a Ran or whatever other crazy broken opener they put out soon. Let's be real. That's gonna be what they're gonna do. But Silverblade Araminta was designed to contain the enemy by taking advantage of burn and stun effects. However, the hero was not able to show their performance without flame release being used. The effect of flame release will be shifted to flame friction, and the new passive Flame of Savara will be added. With the introduction of Flame of Savara, we expect Silverblade Araminta to deliver follow-up attacks to an ally attack that targets all enemies. Meteor Fall will no longer make enemies unable to be healed, but will have a higher chance to burn the enemies and decrease combat readiness of the enemy with the highest combat readiness. Oh yeah, it went from a 50% to a 65% chance to burn for 2 turns, by the way. Dark Corvus. I've seen a lot of people talking about how they wanted Dark Corvus buffs, but I always thought that he was still pretty okay. There's not a ton of Lions in Guild Wars at the moment. I don't think that injury is really that big of a deal. I mean, it is, but it isn't. But anyways, Shield bashes is S1. They're taking the absorb some damage as health, and they're changing it to be worded as, amount recovered increases proportional to the caster's max health. So that's pretty good. That'll help get him, some more sustainability, right? But that doesn't negate the fact that injury was one of his banes, and Hua Young just literally does everything that he does, but better and on first turn. Now on his S3, when the enemy is defeated, it inflicts extinction. So this could be really good against teams with maybe a Celine or a Maid, something non-injury, right? They're also increasing the damage dealt and the soul burn damage dealt. This is probably going to be so that you can offset the reduction in damage that he would output because of the injury set. The hero Dark Corvus bears enemy attacks and inflicts lethal damage on the enemy every time Devil's Descent becomes available. However, the amount of health absorbed as damage for Shield Bash is not high enough to keep the hero up while taking enemy attacks. Also, enemies reviving heroes always mounts the pressure on the team. After these adjustments, Shield Bash will recover more health proportional to the hero's max health, and the hero will be able to keep the dead enemies out of the battlefield by inflicting extinction, which is really good. This will deal more damage both with and without Soul Burn, allowing players to easily take out enemies with high health. So that is really good. This also means that, if there is a blind, you still do a bunch of damage, even with no souls, right? So, well, I don't think that he's going to be used much in RTA. Dark Corvus has always been a monster in Guild Wars, and basically a free win if you keep him alive. So double Soul Weavers, Dark Corvus has always been kind of a pretty easy win. Going into the Covenant 5 stars, we're going to see DN, which I don't think DN should really count kind of as a Covenant because she's a limited, but she really didn't get much. Her S2 is going to dispel 2 buffs now instead of 1 buff, which was kind of one of the problems, right? If you got 2 debuffs, didn't really get rid of both of them. Now it does. Yay. Wow. Wow. That's awesome. They could have done some other stuff to her. I think maybe, put in the debuff despell on her S3 maybe would have been nice, but it is what it is. Maybe a CR push on the S2, but then you would be cycling too fast. Yeah. Now for Araminta, because they can't buff Silverblade Araminta without buffing regular Araminta as well. S1 at the end of the turn detonates the burn effect inflicted on the target. So they did get rid of the ignore effect resist. That kind of sucks. They could have kept that on there. But this is very similar to Pirate Captain Flan, in that at the end of the turn it detonates the burn effect, except Pirate Captain Flan detonates the bomb. Yeah. Yep. I don't get why they have negative with the +5 to 10% chance here, and then they just have it in green over here. It's literally the exact same thing. That's weird. +5% effect chance, +10% effect chance. Why did they do that? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Anyways, moving on. Catalyst. This dispels two buffs. Attacks all enemies with a catalytic explosion. What would really suck is if your catalytic converter on your car exploded. That'd probably also remove 2 of your buffs. But anyways, it makes you unhealable for 2 turns before increasing the attack of all allies for 2 turns. For each unhealable inflicted, increases the combat readiness of the caster by 25%. They're going to increase it the turn, by the way. That's actually kind of crazy, because if you land all 4 unbuffables, you just take another turn. You just take another turn. That's pretty good. So you're going to get 15%, and then you're not going to get an extra turn. Then you're going to probably die. Yeah. That would be rough. That would be, but that's Epic 7. That's Epic 7. Anyways, Flame Pillar, Fire Pillar, attacks all enemies with a massive Fire Pillar with a 100% chance to inflict 2 burns for 2 turns. Oh, sorry about that. Now you get VTuberians, Marions. 50% chance to stun for 1 turn. This is very similar to Silverplate Airmethod S3. That's crazy. Grants a barrier to the caster for 2 turns. Barrier strength increases proportional to the caster's attack. Okay. Alright. Similar, but, different, weaker. Yeah, kind of is what it is. These adjustments will make Aramintha able to inflict burn effects more often and even detonate them on enemies. Fire Pillar will now provide better offensive and defensive abilities by inflicting 2 burn effects and granting the barrier to the caster for 2 turns. Plus, the current combat readiness increase will be shifted to the skill Catalyst, and this will help the player take advantage of both attack and combat readiness increase. Catalyst will have a 1 turn longer cooldown, but dispel buffs before all, enabling itself to make the enemy unhealable, while the additional effect is that increases the caster's combat readiness based on the number. Yeah, you know what it does. I don't think that she's going to be really super good. Maybe I could see her paired up with a carrot and just detonating a bunch of stuff, a bunch of burns. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that being okay. Hoodwig, before Moonlight Blow, attacks with light with a 50% chance to stun for 1 turn before granting the caster invincibility for 1 turn. Now, decreases buff duration by 1 turn before 100% chance to stun for 1 turn. Grant the caster invincibility for 1 turn after the attack when the target is stunned, increases combat readiness of the caster by 50%. They use Soul Burn this to ignore effect resist, so that's pretty good. And you get the CR push so that you get to go faster, you get to zoom a little bit. Then Call of the Full Moon. This is going to attack all enemies with Nocturne magic, and when an enemy is defeated, extends the caster's buff duration by 1 turn. Penetrates the target's defense by 30%, and when the caster is invincible, penetrates the target's defense by an additional 30%. So it might as well be 60%, because let's be real, if you're not stunning and getting invincibility, then, well, you're going to have a bad time. They also increase the damage dealt. So this could be really big. Increase extra damage, 60% defense pen, When you're invincible, which, like I said, you should be invincible from second one, and 50% CR push is going to just loop you right around. It could be good, but yeah, I don't know. I've only ever seen like 3 people use him ever. Ludwig's exclusive equipment, damage dealt increased by 10% when using Moonlight Blow. That's the stun one. So you can weaken something, loop back around, kill it, continue to keep your invincibility. That's pretty good. And you just got to make sure that you get a turn in order to get that done. So maybe super fast Ludwig. I don't know. I don't know. Could be good. This is one that I've seen a lot of people talking about. When I woke up this morning and, let the dogs out and stuff like that, it's Destina. A lot of people wanted Destina to be buffed because, well, yeah, they're Destina simps. A couple of them. But anyways, key to an oath. Before it was the target's max health. Now it heals based on the caster's max health. So this could be good, could be bad if you're running a bunch of tanks that have more HP than Destina. But I mean, a lot of people really just have super bulky, Eevee boy Destinas. So, is what it is. Regen. How do you guys pronounce this, by the way? Because I've heard Reagan. I call it regen. But tell me in the chat, in the comment section, how you guys pronounce that. But anyways, they took down the combat readiness from 50 to 30%, but they also put in Dispel 2 debuffs. So I think that's a fair change. Killing's decreased a little bit. Cooldown is 2 turns now, which is kind of big. Let's be real, that's pretty big. And they did reduce the amount of souls that you get from this. So you're going to be doing this a lot more. You're going to be just undebuffing and just slingshotting people around. And with the plus 15 speed, this Destina is still really slow, right? But not as slow anymore. That's really what it is. Now, Destina's Grace. I saw some people that are really mad about this because it took away some of the gimmickness that Destina had. But now, get out of here. Unreal 2022. Grants all allies the blessing of a spirit lord. Because, well, Destina is one. Revives all dead allies with 20% health. For all allies that are not dead, dispels all debuffs before recovering health. Amount recovered increases proportional to the caster's max health. At the start of the first battle, grants Spirit Blessing to the caster for 2 turns. Spirit Blessing increases effect resist by 60% and cannot be dispelled. Healing is also decreased on this a little bit. Now this is really big because this means that Destina can just rock a ton of effect resist to prevent things like pushback, para, stuns. Well, not that para is really going to be doing much to her. Sea Lilius provoke, all that jazz. Now, she's still really slow. But by the time she gets a turn, she can revive everybody, right? She can revive everybody with 20% of their health, and then you can make a comeback. So you might see some Destinas, some tanky Destinas come into play with really high ER and moderate speed, so that way they can kind of be an anchor for bruisers, and then just bring everybody back to life. Everybody lives again, and just kind of go from there. I'm not reading all of this. That's way too much stuff to read. Yeah. Oh, hey, you can get the exclusive equipment to get your regen back up to 20%. Or back up to 50%. Yeah, that's actually really big. 50%. 50% push every 2 turns, removing debuffs. Imagine that. Destina with like an Aravi or a Hwayoung. Just getting pushed over and over and over and over again. Kind of toxic. Oh, they died. Oh, damn, that's crazy. Oh no. What am I gonna do? Oh, revive them. Oh man, that's nuts. What's the revive on? That's on. It doesn't say how many turns cooldown. That's kind of nuts, dude. All right, Moonlight 4 stars, Guider Aether. People who didn't keep at least one copy of this are on rope alert. Make sure you check in on them because they probably feel bad now because Guider Aether got a buff. They got rid of the barrier for 2 turns on Spirit's Protection. Now it recovers the health of all allies and grants a barrier for 2. Well, it grants a barrier for 2 turns. Actually, wait, why didn't they just leave that in there? Because it still grants a barrier for 2 turns. Amount recovered in the barrier strength increases proportional to the caster's max health. They could have literally just kept that in there, and then just in green, been like recovering health. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. They bamboozled me. Wave of Force. Before delivered a bow to the enemy with a spirit power and healed all allies before granting continuous healing. Now it's going to dispel all buffs before increasing attack of the ally with the highest attack for 2 turns and increasing combat readiness by 50%. So this is really big. If you have a really fast Guider Aether, I don't know what Guider Aether's base speed is. I can't tell you right now, but you can soften it up, CR push your highest attack, give them attack buff, and then they just follow up and clean up. That's actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, alright. Yeah, they also increase the damage, and then the soul burn is reduced cooldown by 2 turns. So Guider Aether is a unique mage capable of recovering and protecting allies, but overall, it was not enough for the hero to contribute to the team fight. With these adjustments, Wave of Force will have effect of dispelling enemy buffs and increasing attack of allies, so that the skill reliably boosts allies' attacks. In addition, the Spirit Protection will be adjusted to recover on allies' health and grant a barrier at the same time for better team protection. The barriers are well, unless they've got an operator cigarette chat, in which case it reduces the team's protection because she'll just kill them. That's what she'll do. But yeah, and her exclusive equipment is going to go from grant barrier to all allies to increases amount recovered by 20%. Okay, now on to Kali. Most people don't know what she does. Most people don't have any clue what she does. Ambush. I actually thought that this is pretty good before, because when she's stealth, damage increases proportional to the caster's speed. You get a double attack. You activate ambush again. But now you have a 75% chance to steal 1 buff. And if you soul burn for 10, increases effect chance to 100% and steals 2 buffs. Yo, this actually kind of good. 75% chance to steal a buff is huge. That is actually really huge. Accurate strike before decreases combat readiness by 30% for granting stealth and a barrier to the caster for 1 turn. Now it's going to attack the enemy with an unseen blade and grant stealth to the caster for 2 turns. At the end of the turn, detonates any bleeding effects and bombs inflicted to the target. This also going to have its damage dealt increases as well. That's good. You're going to get 2 turn stealth. You're going to detonate any bombs. So, like, if you run her with, an ML Flynn or a Caesarea or anybody who puts bombs on, she can detonate those as well. But we're going to talk about Baptism of Fire here. before, this decreased combat radius by 25% 3 times before stunning the target for 1 turn and granting the caster stealth for 1 turn. Damage dealt increases proportion to the caster's speed. Now, it's going to decrease buff duration by 1 turn, so this is a soft strip for immunity. Inflicts bleed and plants a bomb before increasing combat radius of the caster by 50%. When the target is an elemental fire hero, ignores effect resist and increases combat readiness of the caster by an additional 50%. Damage increases. This is a really good way. This literally just counters Hua Young. Yeah, 100%. Just counters Hua Young. Because you ignore effect resist, you soft strip any immunity that she has. You put a bleed, and you put a bomb on her, and you get an extra turn. You can either no, you use accurate strike and detonate the bleed and the bomb on the target, so this is going to stun her, and then you go stealth. So you just baptism of fire into accurate strike, and then you're stealth. And she's also maybe dead. Because you're going to detonate the bomb damage, which doesn't have anything to do with her damage reduction, and the bleed effect, which also doesn't have anything to do with her damage reduction. Her imprint is also going to be 4 to 14% attack instead of dual attack chance. That's really good. This is a 4-star answer to Hua Young. I don't know too many other fire heroes that really are a huge problem besides Hua Young, but this is a good answer. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and then Armin. Oh man, there's a lot of stuff here for Armin. So before takedown, attacks with a large shield with 35% chance of stunning for 1 turn. When the enemy is debuffed, the chance will increase. All right. Same thing. But now, when it's not the caster's turn, this attack changes into an attack that targets all enemies. This can be good. No, this is good. This is, well, no, it could not be good. If you dual attack, you can get counterattacked. But, yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Off turn, all attack. Okay, they can stun. 35% chance to stun, by the way. Flash of Light apparently got changed into Protect. Okay. They're gonna just change the name of Flash of Light. Looks like this is a passive now. So this released a bright light to attack all enemies with a 100% chance to decrease hit chance for 2 turns, and inflict poison for 3 turns. Increase defense of the caster for 2 turns. Now, when attacked, has a 25% chance to counterattack. When an ally except for the caster is attacked by a single target, single attack decrease damage suffered by 20%. One more than 1% or one more than 1 damage reduction effect is granted. Only the strongest is applied. All right, and you can increase the counterattack chance by 35%. So if they're bringing AOE, you're going to have this plus potentially Elbrus. So you're going to be counterattacking a lot with a 35% chance to stun. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. And if they bring single target, you're going to reduce damage suffered by 20%. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Shield Wall uses a Shield of Light to dispel 1 buff. I did like this. I did like Flash of Light, though, because you did inflict poison. And decreased hit chance. And you increased your defense. Kind of gutted that skill. I like that skill personally. I like that skill personally. Uses shield to dispel 1 debuff from all allies, grants increased defense to the caster for 2 turns, and a barrier to all allies for 2 turns. Barrier strength is increased, cooldowns 3 turns, and soul burn extends the buff duration of the skill by 1 turn. Now before, you also had recovering health, so they took that out, which is a little on the sad side. Dude, even more counterattack. Holy crap. Alright, I really like Armin. We're building Armin 100%. So that's going to be, what, a 35% chance to counterattack on her S2. Put her in counterattack set with Elbrus. This character is going to be annoying. That's going to be so annoying. GG. GG anybody who brings AoE. GG anybody who brings anybody who brings single target, because it's just not going to work. It's going to be damage reduction. This is going to be really good. Yeah, it's going to be really good. At 25%, that goes up to 30%. That's a 35%. Plus Elbrus, plus counterattack set. Yeah, I know that counterattack set and her passive won't stack, but it's separate checks, right? More checks, the better. It is what it is. You could also go with the exclusive equipment that dispels one additional buff from all allies, so that's 2 debuffs. No artifact changes, no 3-star changes. They focused a lot more on 4 and 5 stars. I actually think this is really good. I think that this is I think that this is really it's really good, guys. But people are already gonna complain. Dark Corvus might not be good enough, bro. Shut up. Anyways, chat. I hope that you guys like the new direction of the channel, and I hope you guys stick around. Thanks for coming out to my new VTuber debut, and yeah, I appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Make sure you guys come to the live stream for Anime Smash or Pass later on with Sulky, also subathon on Sunday. Alright, take it easy, guys. Bye bye.